Brian Quinn joins me on the set now for your business update. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Jeannie.
You're starting with a major leadership shakeup at one of the world's top multinational food companies based here in France.
That's right. The board of yogurt giant Danone has ousted Emmanuel Faber from his posts as both CEO and board chairman under pressure from activist investor groups. He'll be replaced as chairman by recently appointed director Gilles Schnepp, leaving the maker of Evian bottled water on the search for a new chief executive. Shirley Sitbon reports.
Confirming it's replacing its chairman, Emmanuel Faber, French food group Danone outlined its priorities, accelerating efforts to create value for stakeholders. In 2020, Danone's shares lost about a quarter of their value. Sales fell for the first time in 30 years. Those results, due in large part to the COVID pandemic, were the reason behind the leadership shift. Pressure was high, mainly from activist investor Bluebell Capital and investment fund Artisan Partners, who pushed the company to revise its strategy, focus more on improving profits, less on Danone's environmental results. Making Danone a leading company on environmental and social standards was Faber's trademark.
The productivist agricultural model of these last 50 years has shown obvious limits.
Workers' unions have called on the company to stick to its social and environmental strategy, even if it means it is less profitable.
They must also understand that we cannot have the same profitability as some large groups who only seek profitability without looking at what's around them.
Danone said on Monday its goal is to bring both high economic performances while keeping its environmental standards. Before standing down, Emmanuel Faber put in place a layoff and restructuring plan to turn around the group. A plan the board says it will continue to back.
Well, turning to the markets now, European indexes with some tepid gains Monday as investors look ahead to this week's meeting of the U.S. Federal Reserve. Danone shares are up some 4% on news of that boardroom shakeup. That's helping push the CAC 40 up around 0.25%. Similar territory for the FTSE 100 in London, the Frankfurt DAX right above the flat line. Bitcoin falling back considerably from recent record highs. The cryptocurrency hit a new high near $62,000 each on Saturday, currently trading around $56,200. That news comes as the Indian government is reportedly considering a ban on all cryptocurrencies with fines for anyone even just holding the assets. Well, staying in the digital realm, Facebook has announced Monday that it will now label any post discussing the safety of COVID vaccines. Any such post will now be accompanied by text saying that vaccines go through rigorous safety and effectiveness trials before being released. The company is also launching a tool in the U.S. that shows people where they can get vaccinated. Facebook and its founder, Mark Zuckerberg, have been under growing political pressure during the pandemic for helping to spread misinformation and conspiracy theories. While millions of posts have been removed, Facebook and Instagram remain home to large anti-vax groups. Executives say they're trying to strike a delicate balance.
There's a huge gray area of people who have concerns and are having a conversation about a COVID, some of which some people would call misinformation and some of which other people would call doubt. And we also know from a lot of research that on the margin, if we remove all of that, it can polarize people even more.
And finally, for business, the live music sector has, of course, been devastated by the pandemic. But the recording industry is indeed a different story. Despite the forced closure of most physical retail outlets, revenue actually grew significantly last year. But the nature of the modern music business, where streaming is king, has many worried for its future.
The COVID-19 pandemic has clearly hit musicians in 2020. Live concerts and festivals have been canceled around the world. But at the same time, U.S. music industry sales continued to expand. Revenues rose by 9.2% to more than $12 billion. Streaming is the main way to purchase music. It accounts for 83% of the U.S. music industry revenues. The number of paid subscription accounts has soared. But this graphic is one reason professionals are concerned. Although more people have subscribed, the annual growth of paid subscription revenues is down. This is because the average price of paid subscriptions has dropped. Meanwhile, 2020 has been a year like no other for the industry, with artists forced to work from home during lockdowns and being unable to travel or perform, hitting whole teams of professionals. Some have protested, saying they need more financial backing, pushing authorities to reopen venues too and allow them to earn a living again.
Thanks, Brian, for that business update. Thanks to you for watching. More news coming up after this.